Here are 10 soldiers from the different other Xenos factions and Chaos as well, that are, let's say, more or less the equivalents of the Adeptus Custodes of the Imperium. First, let's start by talking about the Custodes in short, their role, their power, weapons, and why they are the best of the best, and then go into the different races' entries. So let's start this nonsense. Also known as the 10,000, since there are only 10,000 custodians in existence at any given time, their small numbers are due to their unique and intensive creation process, as well as their role as the ultimate guardians of the Emperor. The Custodes were created during the Great Crusade by the Emperor of Mankind himself, long before the current events of the 41st and 42nd millennium. He personally handpicked the best warriors from various human populations, genetically augmenting them to create the most skilled and physically powerful soldiers in the galaxy. Their primary purpose is to safeguard the Emperor and act as the personal bodyguards and also the defenders of Terra. Custodians are genetically enhanced to be faster, stronger, and more resilient than even the best Space Marines. They are to a Space Marine what a Space Marine is to a regular guardsman. How powerful are they? Well, a group of them were able to hold off against 1 million Tyranids. They have also been known to defeat young Primarchs in sparring sessions, and Angron was set to flee the battle scene when Trazyn the Infinite unleashed his collection of Great Crusade era custodian guards. So yeah, that's a benchmark that's hard to top. So let's start with the first one, the Black Library Eldar, the HARLEQUINS. Also known as the Rilliton in the Eldari lexicon, they are a distinct group of Eldari. They do not belong to the existing Eldari factions like the Asturiani, the CRAFTWORLDs, the Exodites, or the Drukhari or the Dark Eldar. They serve the enigmatic Eldari deity known as the Laughing God, Kigora. HARLEQUINS are renowned for their supernatural abilities and agility, even among the Eldari. They are credited with knowing most, if not all, of the secret paths through the webway. Organized into groups called troops and led by a troop master, HARLEQUINS perform with breathtaking skill both on stage and on the battlefield. They wear hollow suits that confound their enemies' aims, and their combat style relies on speed and skill to swiftly annihilate foes. In one occasion, they surprise attacked and stormed the Imperial Palace, killing a few Custodes as well, but they were soon overwhelmed by the might of the Custodian God. This shows that the HARLEQUINS is not just them, but with the Solitaires, their elites, which roam the galaxy alone, they are just as formidable if not more than the Custodes. Number 2, the Dark Eldar, the INCUBI. These are a mercenary order of the Drukhari, the Dark Eldar, similar to the more elite aspect warriors of the CRAFTWORLD Eldari counterparts. They dedicate themselves to the perfection of the killing strike, and their services are in great demand as bodyguards or shock troops for those who can afford to purchase their loyalty. The INCUBI's obsession lies in mastering the Clave, a bladed melee weapon that becomes an integral part of their identity. They are faceless warriors, dressed in spiked and segmented armor from head to toe, and their ornate helmets are framed by razor-sharp horns, giving them an almost demonic appearance. Their combat prowess with the Clave is unparalleled, every swing capable of severing limbs and shattering blades with ease. To become an incubus, an aspirant must undergo long and grueling training. These incubi are highly sought-after bodyguards, and even Archons invest their spoils of war to secure the exclusive assistance of an incubus hierarch and their shrine. The incubi's combat skills make them exceptional enforcers, capable of reducing entire denizens or spires to abattoirs, sending messages to their employers' rivals. Number 3, the Tyranids, the HIVE Tyrants. The HIVE Tyrants are created by the Hive Mind to serve as the commanders of the Tyranid forces on the battlefield. They evolved from completely different genus, characterized by their hulking monstrous forms covered in hard carapaces. Their intelligence is remarkable among Tyranid creatures, and they have a close and powerful synaptic link to the Hive Mind, making them the primary conduits through which the Hive Mind enforces its dominance over the entire swarm. They possess immense psychic abilities, using their strong synaptic connection to manifest potent powers. They can invigorate the swarm, shatter their enemies' morale, or shred the minds of their prey. Their intelligence and awareness allow them to adapt quickly to battlefield events and change the behavior of the entire swarm that they command. When a Hive Tyrant is slain, the Hive Mind simply grows a replacement, imbued with the same knowledge as their precursor. This renders each Hive Tyrant practically immortal, as they can be reborn repeatedly. They are stronger than Space Marines but weaker than Primarchs, therefore Custodes comparable level. Number 4, Necrons, the TRIARCH PRAETORIANS. These TRIARCH Praetorians are a specialized caste of Necrons created during the ancient times of the Necron Tyr Empire. They were tasked with upholding the ancient codes of law and ensuring that every Necron dynasty adheres to them. Unlike other Necrons, TRIARCH Praetorians are not bound to serve a particular lord or overlord. In battle, TRIARCH Praetorians often hover above the fray on gravity displacement packs, carefully observing the situation before deciding when to intervene. They are formidable combatants armed with powerful weapons like the Rods of Covenant, which can deliver devastating short-range blasts or deal tremendous force in melee combat. The TRIARCH Praetorians act as heavy shock troops in Necron armies, embodying the belief that the right warrior in the right place at the right time can turn the tide of battle and secure victory. Just like the Custodes, the TRIARCH Praetorians play a crucial role in preserving the ancient codes and laws of the Necrons. They are determined to see their task fulfilled and to restore the Necron civilization to its former glory. Number 5. The KHORNE armies, the Bloodthirster of unfettered rage. So these Bloodthirsters are creations of KHORNE, born from the distilled rage and savagery of total war. They are immense and fearsome creatures towering over the battlefield with deep red skin and crimson fur like spilt blood. They wear ancient ornamented armor adorned with the glowing skull mark of KHORNE as a sign of his blessing. They wield immense demonic battle axes and long barbed whips, epitomizing the essence of murder and destruction. They are unmatched in martial prowess, feared as the most powerful masters of battle in the galaxy. Their armored hides are impervious against psychic attacks and ranged weapons. In combat, their massive battle axes can cleave through armored vehicles, and their barbed whips strike down distant foes with deadly precision. Despite their appearance as berserkers, Bloodthirsters are skilled tacticians and generals, leading legions to unstoppable assaults against humanity and also against the Eldari. The Bloodthirsters of Unfettered Rage of the Eight Hosts is one of the most comparable to the Custodes. There have been instances as well where they had to fight with the Custodes on equal grounds outside the Imperial Palace. Number 6. The armies of TZEENTCH, the Lord of Change. So yeah, comparing a Custodes to a greater demon of TZEENTCH is like comparing apples to oranges. One is a master at physical combat while the other is a master of sorcery. Anyway, they are still the closest things in TZEENTCH's hierarchy to be considered of the same status as the Custodes in the Imperium. The Lord of Change are immense bird-like demons of TZEENTCH with shimmering skin, curved beaks and multicolored wings. Gazing upon them shreds sanity and reason. They are masters of manipulation and scheming, pulling puppet strings from the shadows. Their plans span eons and are so convoluted that none grasp their true purpose. They twist destinies and work behind the scenes, ensnaring imperial governors, chaos cults, and even other chaos forces. Even when defeated, they fight with unmatched sorcerous powers. To prevail against them, unyielding faith is essential. To fight them physically is all but a hell of a joke. Number 7. The armies of NURGLE, the Great Unclean One. These are among NURGLE's most sacred and powerful servants, carrying his foul plagues and poxes to spread disease, death and decay across the galaxy. Each Great Unclean One is shaped in the image of NURGLE himself, covered in rotting flesh, open sores and dripping with pus. They are the harbingers of NURGLE's rot and ruin, and serve as his lieutenants and field generals. Great Unclean Ones are powerful beings not only physically but also in spirit. They possess a paternal affection for their followers, viewing them as their children and taking pride in their achievements and appearances. In battle, a Great Unclean One is a formidable force. They are nearly unstoppable on the advance, shrugging off attacks as though they were mere bothersome insects. Armed with plague flails, bile blades and other putrid weapons, they charge into the fray with their massive bulk, laying waste to their enemies. They can also summon pestilent winds, vomit forth filth and mucus, and bless their followers with new growths to cover their wounds. Anyway, during the Plague Wars, we saw one of the Custodes fight against a Great Unclean One to a stalemate, so that means they are more or less equals. Number 8. The armies of SLAANESH, the Keeper of Secrets. These are embodiments of pleasure and lure, radiating an irresistible aura that can bring even the strongest warriors to their knees in anguish and ecstasy. They revel in pain and pleasure, feeding upon the emotions of their enemies, including terror, despair, lust, and delight. Possessing great intelligence, they can manipulate and seduce mortals with their silvered words and gestures, knowing their deepest desires and using that knowledge to gain power over their foes. In battle, like the Custodes, the Keeper of Secrets are peerless warriors and killers, graceful yet vicious, delighting in excessive and wanton violence. They take pleasure in causing pain and enjoy the spectacle of death and destruction. Their limbs move with blinding strikes as they eviscerate their opponents, savoring the emotions of their victims. They are also skilled in mystical arts, able to invade the thoughts and senses of their enemies, leading them astray and causing them to succumb to their innermost desires. They are not often used by SLAANESH unless all other methods have failed, as violence is only a small element of the Dark Prince's nature. Number 9. The CRAFTWORLD Eldari, the EXARCHS. They are the CRAFTWORLD Eldari's elite aspect warriors who have become lost on the path of the warrior. The path of the warrior is one of the most dangerous paths as it requires drawing on powerful emotions like anger and hatred during combat. When an Asuryani warrior becomes unable to remove their war mask and falls into a permanent state of aggressive bloodlust, they are considered lost on the path of the warrior. Upon donning the Exarch armor, the Asuryani becomes an Exarch, a living incarnation of war and a servant of Kayla Mencha Kane, the Eldari god of war. They are skilled in combat and often possess potent psychic abilities, which they can use to enhance their capabilities of the aspect warriors under their command. Their armor gives them a collective knowledge and experience, allowing them to tap into the accumulated memories and abilities of their predecessors. They take on the role of instructors, trainers, and teachers for other aspect warriors, guiding them in combat techniques, philosophy, and the control of their emotions during battle. Like the Custodes, they are revered by almost all of the Eldari. Number 10. The Tau, the Riptide Battlesuits. So yeah, the Tau are a relatively young race in the grand scheme of things in the Grimdark, so they do not have super soldiers like the other races. What they do have, however, are firecast warriors and technology, and these don the many types of battlesuits in battle. One such battlesuit that can be thought of as being as powerful or maybe in the long-range warfare aspect of the Tau combat doctrine, even superior to the Custodes, is the Riptide battlesuit. Piloted by the elite Shav's Ray units, chosen for their prowess and dedication, the Riptide serves as an exemplar among its peers. On the battlefield, it swiftly responds to plug gaps in Tau lines and offers covering fire while shielding its allies with its formidable bulk. Equipped with a Riptide shield generator on one arm and a formidable heavy burst cannon or an ion accelerator on the other, the Riptide battlesuit also features a large jetpack for increased maneuverability and flying all through the battlefield. So maybe this entry is kind of a way to include the blue aliens into the fold, but nevertheless, the ones wearing the battlesuit can easily take out dreadnoughts and marines as well. But against an exceedingly agile, cunning, and fast Custodes, long range, okay, the Riptide. Short range, well, mincemeat. So those are the 10 xenos soldiers equivalent of the Adeptus Custodes. More or less. Anyway, I see that many of you haven't subscribed yet. It would do us a huge favor if you would only smash that red button and also like the video to push us through in the YouTube algorithm. And while you're at it, bang on that bell icon for notifications. Till the next time, take care, boys.